Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to our first week of a 7-week masterclass. Esther Mormon here, and I am so excited that you are here joining me for this 7-week masterclass program. I have so much to go over with you, and that's why I broke it up into 7 weeks so that it's a lot to process. But this week's module is super exciting, and I just want to say welcome to this week. And this week is all about setting up our socials for success. So we're going to be talking about a lot of things here. So please take notes, whatever you need to do to retain the information. And of course, you have access to this video so that you can rewatch it if there's something you missed, or you're like, oh, I didn't quite catch that, or oh, I wasn't quite sure what Esther said. Take notes, and you have access to this video because you have created an account. So don't stress if you miss something. You can always go back on the video. So I'm really excited to dive in here and talk about how we can set up our social medias for success, because as photographers, social media is so important for us to get our name out there. Like we cannot grow as photographers if we don't have paying clients, and we are getting paying clients through social media. So without further ado, here we go. We're going to dive in. So I just want to say, obviously, I'm so excited. You guys know me by now because you have done some of my other training courses and you have seen what I've been coaching and training everyone on, so you know my background by now. We do have a lot to cover in this week's module. I just wanted to pop in and say hello. And I just want to say the first half is going to be on Instagram. So we're going to be talking everything about Instagram and setting up your Instagram for success. Or maybe you already have an Instagram page for your photography business, but you haven't implemented some of these things that I'm going to be going over. And I guarantee you're going to be getting a lot of good insight from myself as we go through this, and we learn how to beef up your Instagram and get more clients coming your way. Second half is going to be all about Facebook. Now, we're going to be talking about, I wanted to, not really like intertwine the two of these, so I want to just keep it separate. So first half, all about Instagram. Second half of this module is going to be all about Facebook, so that we can have our headspace in the right zone while we're going through each of these. Okay, so setting up our Instagram. We're going to be talking about a few different topics here, and I've chunked it so that we're going to go over the topic and then move on to the next thing. But some of the things we're going to be covering is your bio, the posts, so like whatever your grid post is, talking about that and how we can make it better. Our stories, and I know stories, when I say Instagram stories, that's going to scare some of you, and that's okay. We're gonna get over that, but I have heard from so many people how they hate doing Instagram stories, so don't stress. We're gonna be doing some brainstorming together during this week's module. And the last thing I want to do is scare you. I just want to get you excited about setting up your Instagram. And I know many of you don't like doing Instagram stories, but we're gonna get past that, and we're gonna be doing a lot of learning. We're gonna be talking about Reels. Now, Reels are fairly new, and they are so effective. So I want to talk about Reels because I am really passionate about Reels. And when Instagram comes out with a new feature, they want to push it and they want to feature that because it's new and that's what they're going after. So that's what I will mention on Reels for right now. Obviously, each of these we're going to be diving more into depth on as we carry on through this week's module. We're going to talk about followers, everything to do with followers, and yeah, that's what I'll say on that. I don't want to dive in before we get to the topic itself, so we'll leave it there. We're going to be talking about general exposure as well. We're going to talk about your audience, and we're going to talk about how to stay top of mind. So staying top of mind is really important, especially when we are in the photography industry. Like, obviously, there is a lot of photographers out there, and I'm fully aware of that. You're fully aware of that. So I'm not saying that to intimidate you. I'm saying that to get you fired up and excited about staying top of mind, because I think it's really important, especially as photographers. Okay, so you guys, we are diving in here talking all about the Instagram bio. So obviously, we're going to talk about the who, first of all, when we are creating an Instagram bio. So the who for the name spot. So I want to just mention we have a Instagram username, which would be your business name. So For photographers, typically your first and last name, and then photography or photo, whatever it is. I know some of us have come up with a creative name, and that's awesome. But I know majority go with the first and last name and photo or photography. So that would be your username. Now, there's another spot for you to put your name in the Instagram bio. And for me, I have found that since Instagram, like, people now are using the Instagram search tool more and more instead of Google. So this is where it's really, really crucial to put in the name spot, like include your niche. So what I recommend is putting your location, then your niche, and then photographer. So that formula would be if you were a maternity photographer in, let's say, whatever your city is. Let's say you are in Surrey. So you would say Surrey maternity photographer. That's what I recommend for putting in the name spot instead of your actual name, just because your name is already going to be in your username section. And if it's not, if you have another creative one, then that's fine. You can put both. You can put your name, and then you can also put the location, your niche, and then photographer. Super, super important just for you to be found and to get that exposure on there, and that people know exactly who you are, and they don't have to think twice about, like, oh, like, do they do this kind of photography? I don't know. So that's what I recommend for putting in the name section when you're setting up your Instagram bio. Then we're moving into the what. So what do you do exactly? So please don't just tell me that you are a photographer. Include a phrase or maybe some words about your style. So you can let people know, like, what, maybe it's some words about what you want your brand to be like. So like for me, it's like, I want like joy and authentic feels and candid and for the madly in love. And I'm basically just wanting to put some phrase or some words about your style. Or maybe you are a dark and moody and intimate photographer. Then great, put that in there. Maybe you are inspired by the golden light and you specialize in maternity photographers. I don't know why I'm picking on maternity photographers, but you get the idea in that you want to include a phrase or some words, something maybe that inspires you. You can put that in your bio just so that people know exactly what you do, what you specialize in, and what excites you most of all. Location. Now, the location is really, really, really important because when people are either searching for a photographer in the search bar, they can search under location, and then you're going to show up if you have linked your location properly into your bio. And this can be done easily through the settings. So what you would do is you would just go to your settings on Instagram, and then all you need to do is make sure that your Facebook business account is linked up through there, and then that's going to allow you to add your location in there. So you really want to make sure that it's linked properly, because for a while, like when I was first starting out, I had no idea that I should do that. So just make sure you link your location in there. If you have additional questions about it, let me know, reach out to me, but it's super, super easy. All you got to do is go through your settings and click on add location, and then you're going to go ahead and link your Facebook to your Instagram. Super, super straightforward there. So that's what I'll mention on there. Please make sure you have your location in there. Also, if people aren't searching through the location bar, maybe, then they are searching just through Instagram, and maybe they've come across you just by typing in, you know, Vancouver wedding photographer, and then they come across you. It might not say the location, then maybe they're like, oh, okay, I'm not sure that she's actually located there, so I'll move on and go to the next one. So you don't want to miss out on potential clients just because you're missing the location in your bio, right? And then a call to action. So I know I talked about this in our 7 secrets, training itself, but I'm going to mention it again because it's so, so important to have a call to action in your Instagram bio. So really, really important that we stress this. Have a call to action. What are people to do when they land on your page? Are they supposed to click on your website? Are they supposed to click on the email button? Are they supposed to click on the message button and send you a DM? What are they supposed to do to get in touch with you and to hire you as their photographer? We have to be super, super clear on what they need to do. We gotta break it down for them. People are not just gonna know automatically to click message and send you a message or to click on your website. Some people might, of course, but we want to just dumb it down to people not knowing what to do, just so that it's so straightforward and it gives them a reason of like, oh, okay, it says inquire here. Great, I'm going to click that. Or, oh, it says email them. I'm going to send her an email then. Just giving them that call to action is super, super important and crucial for us to land more clients and more sales. So, one more thing, your Instagram bio is your first impression with a potential client or a potential follower. So it's very important. That's why I've capitalized this. It's very, very important that we make a good impression and that we give them a reason to smash that follow button or to book with us. So we want to make sure that it's an Instagram bio that is inviting and that is like just looks really put together and crisp and organized, and that people know exactly what we do. So it's really, really important. I can't stress this enough. And we don't want to be losing out on sales just because our Instagram bio sucks. So that's where I want to help you. And I've broken it down into chunks so that it can be super, super easy for you to, it's a nice equation here. You just have to go and do it and put it into your Instagram bio now. And it's as simple as that. Okay, moving on here. I'm going to grab some water. The posts on your feed. So the posts on your feed, this can either be done in a really beautiful and elegant and inviting way, or it can also be done in a not so great way. But that's what I'm here for. I want to help you get your feed looking awesome and just beautiful and inviting for people who come across your page to be like, wow, this is an awesome photography account. So let's talk about having a theme / being curated. So having a theme, I'm not saying that you can only post, one type of photo from one type of location because then the colors are going to be the same. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that I want you to have a theme. So in the back of your head, when you're about to share a photo, I want you to think, does this fit in with my theme? So what you can do is I want you to come up with a few words that really describe your brand and your editing style. And then that's how we're going to make sure that we are putting the right photos into your feed so that it looks beautiful and curated and inviting and just like very pleasing to the eye when someone comes across it. So what I will say for this is using a planning app is crucial. It's so hard to visualize how a grid is going to look if you're not using a planning app already. So some planning apps that I use are Planoly or Later, and those are both amazing. I've kind of flip-flopped between the two of them, and now I've landed across going with Planoly because I find it a little bit more user-friendly. So Planoly is what I personally use, and I just love being able to put all of my photos that I want to share on Instagram, and I dump them into this app, and then I just go ahead and I arrange them in a way that I feel really suits my style and my theme, and it's going to fit in there well. So it's super easy. You just hold down on the photo, and you can kind of toggle it around and move it around in any way that you would like, and then see that it's going to suit the different colors of your brand and the style. It's just really, really important that we are using a planning app because it's way too hard to visualize if it's gonna suit our style and really get in there. So that's what I will say for that. I just want to say as well, a planning app has changed my life when it comes to getting my posts out there, and also because I always say like showing yourself is super, super important. It's hard to mix those into your grid if you don't have a preview. So having this preview is really, really, really helpful. So that's what I will say for that. Editing style, I want to talk about this because I come across so many photographers where I land on their page and their composition is beautiful. They take awesome pictures, but I just noticed that the editing style is not cohesive. It's like, one photo on the grid is like really vibrant and contrasty and bright, and then the next one is like earthy and moody, and I'm like, what is going on here? Like, it's two completely different editing styles, and I hate to say it, I know as creatives it's hard to end up on just one style, but you have to just end up on one editing style. It's going to be way too hard for somebody to know like a preview of what their photos are going to look like if your editing style all over the map on your Instagram. So it's way too hard for a potential client to visualize what their photos are going to look like if your editing style is just like, one of them's dark and moody, and the next is bright and vibrant, and the next is bright and airy, and the next is, and it goes on. So that's where I'll say, finding your editing style, I'll admit it's hard. It took me 2 years to find my editing style, and I'm so glad that I landed upon the style that I did, but it's not easy. So I'm not saying that, you need to snap your fingers and figure it out right now. I'm just saying this is something to keep in mind when organizing your Instagram feed, and what the posts are going to look like is just, it's too confusing to a potential client if your editing style is jumping all over the place. So that's what I will say on that. Now, being frequent with these posts. So, planning out posts on your feed, I know it can get overwhelming being like, oh my goodness, I have to post something today. What am I going to post? But that's where the planning app comes in handy with just, exactly what posts are coming next. And you can go ahead and plan exactly for it to post on a certain day. I actually prefer just to have a preview of it, and then, every day I'm jumping on there and I'm doing it myself just because I need that control in my life. That's just me. But for you, it might work better that you just go ahead and plan the exact time, and you got your caption there, and boom, the app does it for you. So that's another advantage that you can definitely use for Planoly. But being frequent, I can't stress this enough. Like, people, they follow you for a reason. So it's like really, really important that you are being frequent on there, and they want to see your photos. Instagram is meant for you to show off your photos and what you're proud of. So being frequent is really, really, really important. It's also great for staying top of mind, and just that since you are creating so much content and you have so many photos, like, we as photographers have such a big advantage in the marketing game because we have a never-ending supply of content. We have so much awesome content that we can just keep sharing, and we're never going to run out. Whereas other companies have to go out and hire photographers to keep up with the content and with their marketing managers and everything like that. But we don't have to, because we have an endless supply of content. And if you have run out of content, go create some more. Sorry, I know that sounded harsh, but I'm just really, really passionate about that. Now, making our feed look neat and tidy. So making our feed looking neat and tidy, what I mean is just like, when I'm saying like curated, like, we want to just make sure that it's not like every single photo is a close-up. It's like one style that I really love is when people do like, it's a far away shot, then a close in, then a far away, then a close in, and it just looks so good on the feed, and it just shows that like they've really put some thought into their feed, and everything like that. Other photographers that I know, they will do a black and white photo in every third post just to have it looking a little bit more neat and tidy. Some photographers I know will do like 6 in a row from the same session, and then they'll do another 6 in a row. So the list kind of goes on in just that there's so many options for you to figure out what your theme's going to be, what your style is like, how you can make it looking neat and tidy, keeping your editing style cohesive, using the planning app. These are so many things for the posts on your feed that are going to be super, super helpful. Now, figuring out your style for keeping it organized. I made capitalized on purpose because it's so important that you find your style and not the person beside you or the photographer that you admire. It has to be your style. So it might take some time, and that's where I recommend writing down some different words about your composition style, about your brand, and about your editing style. What are some words that could describe it? Write those down, and that's how you're going to figure out your style. And then before you want to post something or put it into your Planoly app or your Later app or whatever app you're using, before you go and choose which ones to use, you want to make sure you run through in your head, does this match all the different words that I have about my brand and my editing style? Does it match? Yes? Okay, perfect. Then go ahead and import that. If not, then don't share it. So that's what I will say for that, figuring out your style for keeping it organized, super, super important. All right, we're moving on to stories. And Instagram stories, I know, can be scary, and I want to get rid of that. Being scared of that. Let's ditch that. And I just want to say that, like, I hated them at first too, and I remember like scrolling on Instagram, and I would see a few different photographers that I looked up to. This was early in the day. It was in my first year of photography, and I remember looking and seeing these photographers, some of them, talking on their stories and yada yada. Hey guys, I'm at this session, blah blah blah. And then I would move on to the next one, and the photographer would be doing the same thing. And I'd go to a next one, and I'd think, why do I care what a photographer's eating for breakfast? And then I'd go to the next one, and they would be, posting a picture of their computer, being like, good day in the office, or stuff like that. And I remember just rolling my eyes thinking, like, what the heck? Like, why is this relevant? And then, 6 years down the road, here I am doing that exact thing. But it just goes to show that, like, after I did a lot of trial and error, and I, just try different things, I hired some business coaches, and the common theme I found was that they work, and they have gotten me customers, they've gotten me extra followers, extra engagement, they've created connections with people. Like, I literally had somebody reach out to me the other day, and they said, I am going to fly 6 hours to get a photo shoot with you because I am obsessed with not just your photos, but with your personality that shines through your stories. And I thought, wow, if I, had just gone with like I find Instagram stories annoying mindset, I wouldn't have had that opportunity. And I was just blown away, and I thought, oh my goodness, like, that is insane, that what Instagram stories can do for you. So those are just a couple things that I hope inspire you, and don't have you like scared about them, but instead inspired and excited about Instagram stories. So these are so effective for reaching more people. So when you go to your Instagram profile and you're looking at your Instagram profile, and you can click on the Insights button. Now, when we look at this, it gives us a lot of great information. So it gives us information of accounts reached, and this is super, super helpful for figuring out how our Instagram's doing and how it's performing for us. But Instagram stories are so effective for reaching more people. So that's one reason why we should be doing Instagram stories. People love to come behind the scenes with you. So whether you like it or not, it's what people love to see. They love to see you just doing your thing and showing some behind the scenes. So whether that's some behind the scenes of what your editing process looks like, or maybe it's behind the scenes at a photo shoot, maybe it's a selfie with your clients, maybe it's you driving to a shoot and, I'm not saying to Instagram while you're driving, but, you've arrived at a shoot and you're in your car and you're saying, hey guys, I just drove to fill in the blank, whatever location. I'm so excited for this shoot. It's going to be a whatever kind of shoot it is. You just let people know, you let them inside your life, and they love that. And Instagram stories is a great tool for doing that. It builds connection. So just like my story with that lady, I can't remember what state she was from, but the one who DM'd me saying that she felt a connection to me. She's never even met me, but yet she's going to fly 6 hours to get a photo shoot with me when there's so many photographers in the state that she lives in. But she felt a connection to me because of my Instagram stories, and that just blew me away. And that, that's the reason why we do what we do, is sharing on Instagram stories. So it's so huge for building connections, and building connections with your fans who are on your page because they love your photography, building connections with potential clients and with current clients who have already hired you and who are following you. So I know this sounds crazy, but I do 10 to 15 stories every single day. So I know that might seem high. Some of you are like, oh man, like, I'm lucky if I do one. But don't stress about that. That's what I do. And that could maybe be a goal for you, an ending point, or maybe you want to try do this for, a week and see how it goes, see how it feels. But what I want you to realize is that this does not need to be 10 to 15, like, amazing brand new stories that you've never posted before. No, it doesn't need to be that. It just needs to be a little glimpse into your everyday life or a life as a photographer. Just letting people inside your life is huge for Instagram stories. So I know this sounds like a lot, but we are going to brainstorm some ideas. So what I want you to do is be taking some notes and coming up with ideas here, and I'm going to share some with you, obviously, because it's really, really hard to come up with different content. So what I'm going to share with you is some different ideas that you can now grab and make your own, or maybe do like a brainstorming map where I will mention something and then you can kind of chain off from there and create like a web type brainstorming thing. So some different ideas for you would be behind the scenes, like I mentioned, but we're going to get more specific. So behind the scenes in the office. So you could take a picture of what you're doing in the office. Are you emailing clients? Are you creating timelines? Are you doing some professional development, like getting educated? Like that's a huge one, and people love to see that because they know that you're passionate about photography and that you are getting better because you want to do a better client experience. Did you just get some new gear? Great, share that on Instagram. Did you like all behind the scenes type things, anything to do like photography related of your day-to-day stuff. So another idea for behind the scenes could obviously be at a shoot. And I know it's hard because you're focused on taking the photos. So what I do is I bring a little tripod, like a not a camera tripod, tripod for my phone. I got it on Amazon for like $30. So I bring that along and I'll put my phone in there and then I'll just have it running for, I don't know, like 20, 30 minutes and then I can go ahead and crop it and whatnot. But I'll just have that going because I always forget to take behind the scenes, you know, because you're focused on getting the awesome photos. So then it's just something that slips our mind. But I want to encourage you to think of some other behind the scenes things that could connect to your business specifically and what you could share with people. Some other things that we could do for stories are educating our ideal client. So maybe we could let them know what to wear to a shoot. Maybe we could do some stories of us modeling and some different things. Like maybe you want them to wear, like your style is like, oh, you want it really dressy. Great. Well, then put on some different dresses and put that on your story then and do maybe a video or a picture and just show people that. And you could say, hey, here's 6 stories that would be a great what to wear guide. And you can highlight that on your Instagram story itself. Now, let's move on to the everyday side of things. So the everyday side of things can be anything. It can be like maybe you have a very specific morning routine. Maybe you go for a 3-kilometer walk, you take a cold shower, then you go and you do some yoga, then you eat a healthy breakfast, then you get into the office, then you make a smoothie, like whatever it is, show people that. People want to see that, right? So that's where it's really, really important that we can think of some different everyday type things. Maybe you're going to run a quick errand and you want to tell people about that. So that's another really, really good idea there, is just showing some everyday things and, you know, letting people into your life and seeing that you are not just a photographer, but you have a life as well, and showing them some of your favorite things within that. Really, really effective there. Now, the next thing I'm going to mention is going to scare some of you, and I know that because it scared me right off the bat, and it took me a little bit to warm up to the idea, but I promise you, the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So this is the talking on your Instagram stories. So yes, you're going to go into selfie mode, and you're going to hold that button, and you're going to talk to people like you were talking to your best friend. That's how I phrased it for myself. Like I was like, okay, my best friend's name is Emma, so I'm like, I'm talking to Emma. This is totally fine. It's chill. I'm telling her a story that I found interesting or funny or something, like the way that I would talk to her on FaceTime. And people loved that. Like I got so many responses the first time I did it. They were like, oh, this is so personal. Like I love it, blah, blah. And I don't know how, but it always gets more views. So the Instagram algorithm is interesting in that when you do those, it gets more views. And it's crazy because I didn't do it for such a long time because it scared me. But once I started doing it, I got more comfortable and confident with it and realized that it works. And now I love it. Like I have fun doing it now. So that's another way, is you can share something maybe about your day, maybe about whatever you're currently doing. Or again, you can educate them, give them a little tip or something how they can make their photo shoot better, or something about your business, about your story, about yourself, literally anything. So that's what I will say to that. And yes, I know it's going to scare some of you, but I promise it's going to be worth it and it's going to work. So if anything, please just try it out. And there's also some really cool filters on Instagram stories you can do. There's one called Ask Your Photographer, and it has all these different like little questions that pop up, and then you can answer it. So you don't even have to think of the content, and people are still getting to know you, which is really awesome too. So have a little browse through the different filters that you could do, and there's some different get to know me's and some small business ones and different things there. So just have some fun looking around on stories, and if 10 to 15 sounds like a lot, that's fine. Lower your goal to maybe 5 and then work your way up from there and see how that goes. So highlight them on your profile. So when we're doing this, we want to look at, when you're looking at your profile, there is obviously that you can add new highlight things, and it's going to show right on your main profile. So what I do is I like to categorize them just so that when a potential client lands on your profile, they can see, what do they want to see here? Oh, do they want to see some of your services? Do they want to see some memes? Do they want to see about you? Do they want to see behind the scenes? Do they want to see recent blog posts? Do they want to see some of your travel? Maybe some testimonials? Like, what do they want to see? So stories that you are creating, I know they only last for 24 hours, but the beauty of highlighting them is that people can go back to them. So it's like, if you make an awesome behind the scenes thing, great. Well, it's not wasted if not that many people see it right away, because when you highlight it to your profile, it's going to be like perfect for them to refer back to, or when a new person lands on your page, they can go through it and be like, whoa, this was so cool. What an awesome behind the scenes video that she made, right? So that's where the highlights are really, really awesome. And I definitely recommend not just having like one highlight thing, but make a bunch and then categorize them, just so that when people land on your page, they know, you know, what kind of things they can come across when it comes to stories, because they're categorized. So highlighting them on your profile is really, really, really important. Show people how in demand you are. So let's say, for example, you are starting out and you might not have a lot of clients all the time. That's fine. Everyone starts somewhere. I was in your position too. And what I did was I got so many people to model for me. Like, I made sure I reached out to them, and I would show people how I was so in demand. I would never say, hey, I asked this couple to model and it's for free. I would just show, hey guys, I'm at this shoot with so-and-so today. Here's Haley and Nate, and they are just so cute. Oh man, they met in high school. They've been together for 5 years. Check them out. They are rocking it tonight. And I would just show people, like every time I was at a shoot, I would show them, because I wanted to show how in demand I am. And you know what? I started getting, like, I would run into somebody from high school, then I heard from like a friend's parents, I heard from some other friends, and the first thing that they would say to me when I'd run into them was, wow, you are so busy, or wow, your photography really took off. Hey, like, you've got a lot of people who that you're doing photos of. That's so awesome. And I was like, wow, that totally worked, with showing people how in demand you are. And then suddenly they're like, whoa, they're getting pictures with her. Like, I want to get pictures with her too. And it's the snowball effect from there, in just that they're seeing that you are in high demand, and then they're wanting to book you too. So that's what I'll say to that. Instagram stories, super, super, super important. And I cannot stress that enough. So please get going on the Instagram stories. Okay, we have arrived at Reels, and as I mentioned, Reels are new and they are so effective. So when I say effective, I mean that you have so much potential to reach so many people who are not following you, and to reach a different audience that maybe are just coming across your page and they're like, whoa, like, this video is super awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna follow them because I really enjoyed watching that video. So it's just, you get to reach a different demographic of people, which is really, really cool. And I am such a big fan of the Reels tab. I'm so glad that Instagram came out with it because I just think it's the coolest thing. It's a fun way to show your personality, your brand, and some video footage. So obviously Instagram started out with just being all pictures across the map, but it's definitely a fun way to just kind of show who you are, what your brand is like, and people love the video footage. So I know Instagram, since it was all about photos before, but now it seems that people are really, really enjoying oh, really? I didn't even do that intentionally. Wow, that blew me away. Anyway, so people are really enjoying this video footage, and the interesting thing is that they don't care about, it doesn't have to be the highest quality video of like taken on your camera and whatnot. No, don't stress about that. Phone quality is just perfectly fine, and people are really enjoying it. So I highly recommend to do some different reels. A great way to get inspired is just go on some different photographers' pages that, what kind of content are they creating? How can I make something kind of similar to that, but more to my brand? That's a great way to do it, and just kind of looking into another photographer that you really respect and being like, oh, okay, awesome. They created a what to wear guide. Great. Well, my what to wear guide's not going to be like theirs, but I'm going to create one too and have it more towards my brand. So having a hook, let's talk about a hook. Having a hook is really, really, really important, and you want to capture someone's attention. So you want to hook them in with, maybe it starts with a question that might pique their interest. Maybe it's a statement like, this might really shock you, but, and then someone who's watching, it's just how the human brain is. They're watching and they're like, huh, well, what is that? Like, what is that thing that's going to shock me? I need to know. And they keep watching, and then that's how you pull them in. Now you're going to share either a story or tell your story, or maybe you're going to do some entertainment. You want to entertain them or have some sort of story that's going to interest them somehow, because your audience likes to watch something that will entertain or educate them. So that's something to keep in mind when creating content. Super important when you are creating content that you're being intentional about it, you're including a hook, then you are creating something that is going to entertain or educate them. Choose a song from the trending list. So when you go into the Reels tab and you are creating something, you want to go to the trending tab and then choose a song that's going to suit whatever kind of content you just made. Maybe it's like a really upbeat behind the scenes thing of your couple dancing. You're going to look for a song on the trending list that is really upbeat and it's going to match whatever kind of footage you're showing your audience on Instagram. So that's another great way to get a higher reach on Instagram, is when you choose a song from the trending list. So super important. That's why I wanted to let you guys know about that. Make sure you put a cover photo into the reel. So when you go to publish your reel, it's going to have an option that says choose cover photo. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to go to your camera roll and choose a photo. Maybe it's a photo that you took. Maybe it's a photo of you. You just want to choose something that is a higher quality photo than just the phone quality of the video itself, because that's what it'll automatically want to do. Instagram is going to want to grab a little screenshot from a video, but obviously that's not going to be great quality. It's going to be a bit fuzzy. It's not going to pull people in to want to watch it. But when you put a cover photo into the reel, really, really effective. And it just looks a lot better on your grid as well. So that's one more thing I'll say there. The other thing is, make sure that the little button that says also share to feed is turned on. That's going to get a way higher reach and better engagement. So batch them. When you make reels, it's hard to come up with content all the time. Also, as a girl, I know it's hard to always be put together and have makeup on, have your hair looking half decent. So to stay productive, I always recommend batch producing. So I will go ahead, and you can save them in the drafts thing, which is awesome, similar to TikTok. And what you can do is I'll make like 10 to 20 in a row of different things, and I'll just save it in my drafts, and then I'll slowly just like, okay, today I'm going to post a reel. Great. 2 days later, I'm going to post another one. 2 days later, I'm going to post another one. Next day, I'm going to post one. You get the idea. So then what you're going to do is, once you run out, oh, okay, great. Well, then I'm going to batch them again. And I'm an organized person. So in my calendar, I will like slot out 2 to 3 hours to make reels, and I will just go for it. I have my ideas list of what I want to make, and then I'll just go and do it, save them all to my drafts, Super easy. And you're being way more productive because you're batching them. Let's talk about followers. So what I'm going to say for followers is find pages related to your niche. So what I mean by this is, for example, a wedding photog would look at local venues. So like local wedding venues, I have followed like probably 30 venues that are close to my proximity. Well, I did when I was starting out, and just wanted to connect with them. And then local vendors, so hair, makeup, florists, you get the idea. Just local people in your area who are related to the niche that you are either in or wanting to get into. So, for example, a maternity photographer could look at some kid-friendly Instagram pages, maybe some local daycares, maybe some child-friendly facilities, and go and follow their followers. So that's how you're going to connect with the type of audience that you are wanting to land on your page. And when someone follows you, I don't know about you, but I always click on their profile and want to check them out anyway. That's how we can also get a greater reach and exposure. And yeah, it's all great there. So that's just a couple examples there. And then finding photographers that are similar to you and your style, or maybe that you look up to, and then following their followers. So I'm not saying that you're trying to like poach their clients. I'm just saying that if you find a photographer who's quite similar to your style, great, then their followers are following them for a reason, and they're probably going to like your style too. Not all of them, but a lot of them will. And also photographers that you look up to, just checking out who they're following too, and just kind of going through that. And that's a really, really great way to connect with more people, get a greater reach, gain some more followers. So those are a few tactics that are really helpful. And then looking at local pages and following their followers. So what I did is like I would go to different universities that were in my area, because my niche, I want to get potential brides on my page. So I made a list of like 10 different local universities, and I went and followed so many of their followers, and that ended up landing me some different clients, a bunch of new followers, I just knew what kind of demographic I wanted to reach, so that was a way that I could get some organic traffic to my page. And then following other photographers, near and far, doesn't matter where they're located, it really does not at all. So maybe other photographers that you really love their style, or maybe other photographers that you just want to connect with because you saw them on their stories and you think that they're really awesome. But photographers are really awesome and positive and just a great way to help build your engagement, and they're going to, it's kind of like the you scratch my back, I scratch yours type deal, in just that you are connecting with them, and they're going to, give that kind of feedback as well. So that's what I will say on that. The Explore feed is really awesome too. I will jump on the Explore feed and I'll type in some keywords, and then I'll just end up on, different profiles here and there, and I'm so quick to tossing follows because it helps with gaining more exposure, more followers, all that good stuff. Okay. This segues us into staying top of mind. So staying top of mind is the goal with posting so often. And I seriously need to stress this. Stop worrying about spamming. It's wasted energy. I wasted so much energy on it when I was starting out because I was worried about, my friends and family that followed me, or maybe some other people that followed me, and I was worried that they would want to unfollow if I was spamming them, quote unquote. But seriously, it's wasted energy and it's just so toxic. Instagram is a place to share your photos and what you're proud of. So stop worrying about spamming and just share what you're proud of. That's the whole idea behind the app. So we can't worry about spamming when this app was literally made for that. Let's take advantage of this amazing app instead and use it to its full potential. So we want people to know exactly our niche, and we come to mind first when they think of a fill in the blank photographer. So, lifestyle, family, wedding, event, whatever it is, and then insert your city here. So that's what I mean when staying top of mind, is that we're posting so often with that goal in mind, that automatically when someone is either talking about a photographer that they need or someone online is asking for someone, you're going to be the first one that comes to mind because you are sharing so much and you're sharing on so many different ways on Instagram, you know, stories, posts, reels, you're commenting on people's stuff, that you're going to come to mind because you're so active on there. Let's talk about your audience. Define who your ideal client is, and you need to make sure that you know exactly who you're wanting to market to. We need to know who our audience is if we're wanting to talk to them. A specific person. So be as specific as possible and tell me everything about this person. You're going to write it down. And if we are marketing to everyone, we are marketing to no one. I know I've used this line before, but I need to enforce it because it's so, so important. So I got to drive it home. We're wanting to engage with our audience, connect with, entertain, and educate. So I mentioned that before when talking about Reels, but really what it comes down to is all of our content with our audience. We're wanting to connect with, educate, and entertain. And we want to be consistent to keep up and make sure that we are keeping our audience engaged and happy because of what we are sharing. So that's what I will say for like staying consistent, is that your audience is going to stay happy and engaged because you are sharing so often. Our audience is literally our biggest fans, so we need to over deliver to them. And they get excited when we are sharing stuff. Like, they want to see what you're up to and what kind of beautiful images you're creating, or maybe creative reels, or sharing stuff on your stories. They want to see that. That's why they follow you. That's like, they literally follow you for that reason. Okay, so you guys, we are jumping over to the Facebook side of things. So let's talk about your Facebook business page. Setting up your business page. This can be confusing, and I know a lot of photographers who actually don't even use Facebook, but I'm going to recommend that you do use it because it's just another platform that is going to help get your name out there, your exposure, and reach another demographic of people. So inviting friends to like the page is huge. So what I did was when I set up my Facebook business page is, you know, I went through everything, you know, you click create new page and you insert all the different info, you get a nice picture up there. And then the first thing I did is I invited all my friends to like the page. And what I did is I just did it in batches of 50 people, because when you do it in batches of 50, you can click also invite in Messenger, and then that's going to make sure that you are hitting them up on their notifications and their messages when you're inviting them to like it, and your chances of them actually going and liking it is going to be way higher, and you're going to get a way better result when you're doing that. So connecting your Instagram and Facebook is really important as well, and I talked about this earlier, but I want to stress it because then when you automatically share something on Instagram, it's going to post it to Facebook. So that's like a really, really important tool that we need to incorporate, because then you are killing two birds with one stone and minimal effort. So I will go ahead and say this is the hardest platform to grow by far. It's very different, and the algorithm is a bit different, but you know, I am up for the challenge, and it took a long time to kind of grow it to a place that I was content with. But even like the business pages that have, you know, 20K, 50K likers, their engagement is not amazing. So don't stress about that, and instead let's just take the challenge and be posting consistently and having it set up properly. That's what I'm here for as we go through this lesson. So since it's the hardest platform, that's why I'm going to be sharing a few secrets with you today in this module. So your network of people. Taking advantage of your network of people can definitely be scary, and you don't want to seem like you are that sleazy salesman. Yeah, people are just worried about seeming like that salesperson online with their friends, and I get it. I got over this by just realizing that my friends were excited to see what I've been up to, and that I'm chasing my dream, and that I am killing it. Like, they want to see that. So that's how I got over that. I remember just being like, oh, I don't know if I should be, you know, sharing this so often and blah, blah, blah. But the positive like reactions that I got made me realize, oh, okay, well, they actually do want to see what I'm up to. So I stopped stressing about that, And as I got over that, people were like really encouraging and positive, and it was all good. So hitting that share button from my business page to the personal was an awesome way to get more engagement to my business page, more traction, and that just people were realizing they knew what I was doing just because I was hitting that share button from my business page, sharing it to my personal timeline. It was a great way to get my friends on board, and then some of my friends even clicked the share button from there and got my name out there, and that landed me some more clients through doing that, which was really, really exciting. If people don't want to see it, then fine, they keep scrolling. It's as simple as that. We don't need to stress about that. Again, it's wasted energy, and we don't want to be wasting energy because we have way better places we can be putting our energy into. Okay, so engagement. Increasing engagement by asking questions in captions. So this actually can go for Instagram and Facebook when we're posting stuff, but I put it on the Facebook side of things because I had so much content for the Instagram side of things, because that's more, I get so many leads from Instagram, so I pushed a lot of my energy into teaching you guys that, but this can actually work for Instagram and Facebook. Having call to actions in a post. So asking them, maybe you're asking them a question at the end of the post. Maybe you have a hook in the beginning of the post and then a call to action being like, hey, comment to let me know, blah, 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 fill in the blank. Just having like a call to action within the post is a great way to land some more engagement. Sharing photos that get us excited. If we're sharing photos that get us excited, that's going to engage our fans, our potential clients, and any other, friends that are following you. If it gets us excited, then there's a way better chance it's going to get them excited too. Okay, let's talk about your bio on Facebook page. So, a few things we want to be sure of is having our website. It's quite similar to your Instagram bio, so we're just going to follow a very similar framework. We want to have our location, who we serve exactly, why they should hire us. So you can include that in your while you're setting up your description on your Facebook business page. Link your Instagram. That's really, really important as well. And I recommend linking it on your business Facebook page and your Facebook personal account. You can also link your Instagram and your website as well. So we want to be taking advantage of our Facebook business page and also our personal page to link your Instagram and your website if you have one. So Facebook cover photo and profile photo, we want to have it something that catches the eye. So I find for the profile photo, people want to see the person behind the camera instead of a photo you've taken. And I know it's easier to just chuck a photo up of one that you've taken that you're really stoked with, but trust me, people want to see the person behind the camera, and you're already breaking down those trust barriers when a potential client lands on your profile and they're seeing, oh, awesome, that photo, they already have a little bit of trust just because they've seen your face. That's just human nature. That's how we are. So then our cover photo, we want to also tell us what you do, who you serve, and have the website within the cover photo. So there's some great templates that you can grab off of Canva. Free app, you can put it that way, or maybe you want to hire a designer to do this, whatever it is. For one, if your business, is quite smaller right now and you want to keep expenses minimal, that's totally fine. Then just design something on Canva. But make sure that you're just telling us what you do, who you serve, and having your website in the cover photo. So when you're doing that, we want to have your brand colors, so that's making the cover cohesive and just, not looking random, but instead cohesive by using your brand colors. Okay, social proof, reviews. We're going to talk about Facebook reviews right here. Asking people for reviews. So this could be past clients, or maybe somebody you did a free shoot for, or maybe just an admirer of your work. I have actually taken advantage of all three of these for my business page. And whenever I've asked someone, I've never had someone say no, and typically they're excited that I'm asking them to do it. I give a very specific framework for people who are writing me a review. So I ask them, I have 5 questions that I want them to try and address while they are writing the review. And it's an easier way for them to, instead of trying to think and they're scratching their head and they're like, yeah, I had a great experience. Boom, done. That doesn't help anyone, and that's not specific enough. And a potential client's going to look at that and be like, okay, great. Every other photographer that I've come across has that too. We want to stand out, and by standing out, we got to make sure that we are asking some prompting questions that they can answer while they're writing a review, and it's going to make it way easier for the customer who is writing a review or maybe an admirer of your work. So for this, it can be what kind of shoot did you hire, insert your company name for? What did you love best about your experience? How did you feel during the actual photo shoot? Would you recommend, fill in your company name, to a friend? What was the best part about your experience? How did you, you can ask a lot of different things. You can talk about your editing style. You can talk about the turnaround time. You can talk about how the, how the photos turned out. There's obviously a lot of different things that you can hit when you're asking somebody for a review, but the more specific, the better. And those are just a few ideas that you can use when trying to ask somebody to write your review. Now, when people recommend or review you on Facebook, it is huge for potential clients who are doing their research of who to hire. And trust me, they do their research and they are not just checking out one photographer, they are checking out multiple. And if you have awesome social proof that you are the one to hire, boom, it's going to be a slam dunk. It's going to be like, no, they're not going to have to think twice because they're reading this awesome social proof. So very, very important. I can't stress this enough. And so many photographers don't do this. It's so painful. So many of them do such a poor job of just not asking people. And I'll go to this photographer's page that I absolutely love and realize they have like 4 reviews. I'm like, what the heck? This person should have hundreds of reviews. So anyway, that's what I will say to that. I want you to get fired up about reviews. So I'm not kidding when I say this. I ask every single client that I shoot if they will write me a review after I deliver the photos. So once I deliver the photos, I will literally include the link for Google and Facebook for them to write me a review. And I ask every single client. So I ask them, I try to do it soon after I have delivered the photos and they are just pumped on life with them. I want to ride that high and then send them a link. Boom. Awesome. Hey, Megan, I'm so glad you love the photos. Thank you so much for giving me a shout out on your Instagram and for changing your Facebook profile picture and for tagging me. That means so much to me. I'm wondering if you could just do one more thing for me. I promise it'll take 2 minutes. If you could fill out this review, boom, I put the links in there. And she's so excited with the photos. She's like, of course, Esther, done. Done deal, slam dunk, boom. So get fired up about reviews and start asking people for them. It's not something that people think of doing on their own, especially that maybe they don't own their own business. Maybe they've never had a photographer before. It's not something they're going to think of on their own, even if they're super excited. So you got to ask. So I'm just going to share the biggest way to grow organically, reaching our network's network. So asking our friends, family, and fans individually, having them invite their friends to like your page. So before you freak out and you're like, this sounds like a pyramid scheme. It's not a pyramid scheme. I guarantee you that. But instead, it's just a great way to grow organically. So I usually send a video of how to do this when I privately message someone. So let's go to step 1. Step 1, I privately message someone. I say, hey, fill in their name there. I'm wondering, I so appreciate your support. You can maybe give them a little compliment, butter them up. And then you're like, I'm curious if you would be willing to do a super quick favor for me and it would make a massive impact on my business. It takes 30 seconds. I can send you a video of how to do this. Let me know if you are willing to do this favor for me. Now, I've never had someone say no to me, and I've asked so many people to do this. So then with the video, what you're going to do is you're going to take a video on your phone, record your computer, and you're going to be actually showing how to invite their friends. So all they have to do is go to your business page. You can send them a link. They can click on your business page. Then they're going to click on the box that says invite friends. Then they're going to click select all, and then they're going to click send. And it's all of a sudden going to send every single one of their friends a notification that says so-and-so has invited you to like fill in your company name. And it's so effective, and that's how I reached way more people on my Facebook page, because Facebook is really hard to grow. So this was a great way to grow organically, and people are excited to help too. So each person who did this for me, I actually sent them a Starbucks gift card in the mail, and they were super pumped about that too. So once they responded and said, yeah, no worries, Esther, I sent them the video. And then when they did it, they said, done. I'm like, sweet, I'm going to send you a $25 Starbucks gift card. Let me know what address I can mail it to, or email address to send the e-gift card to. Much easier to do it on the desktop, so I let people know that as well. Like, it's really hard to navigate on the app of how to do this, so I just tell people, you know what, if you've got a laptop or computer, it's going to be way easier to do this. Okay, before we wrap up, we made it, first of all, but there's one more thing that I want to mention. So first of all, congratulations, we have made it through week 1. Woohoo! So now, one more thing I'm going to mention is you can't just sit there and say, wow, this lesson was super cool, helpful, and you actually haven't gone and done any of these things. No, I'm not down for that. That's not why I just put all this energy into creating this lesson for you and pouring my heart out and giving you all these tips that have helped my photography business succeed and thrive. That's not why I did it. I need you to go and do these things. So get out there. You've got this, and I can't wait to stay in touch with you. If you enjoyed this lesson, awesome. I want to hear from you, and I want to hear what kind of results you're seeing, and I want to keep in touch with you. I'm going to see you next week at our exciting week 2 lesson. Keep up the hustle. Let's get our Instagram and Facebook pages set up for success, and I'm just so glad that you are here. So thank you so much for listening, and I'm so stoked just to be educating you, watching your business grow, and I will see you next week.